Welcome to Good and Decent, a Grotto podcast. Episode 21, Comedy of Life.
Here at Grotto, we create different topics to do stories on every month. And for September 2023, we have an edition titled The Best Medicine, which focuses on laughter and comedy. We're always wondering about comedy and humor at Grotto. What does it take to be a stand-up comedian? What are the best styles of comedy, and who does it best? For this episode of Good and Decent, we'll reminisce on two past interviews with talented but small-time comedians, Logan and Ellis Aych. First, we're going to focus on Logan in Brooklyn, New York. Mike told us about finding a passion in comedy and his faith life. But what really struck me is how transparent and vulnerable he is about his life, whether that's to a Grotto producer on the ground or actually in the midst of his comedy routine.
All right. So we got one more comment left for y'all. He's hilarious. His name is Mike Logan, and he's walking up right now. So put your hands together for Mike Logan.
Being a comedian, you like to think when you walk around, people see you for what you see yourself for. You know, like I had a conversation with this guy the other day. He walked up to me like, "Yo, man, you look super familiar." And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yo, you be around the Queens area?" I said, "Yeah, you know, I do stand-up." He's like, "Nah, that's not it. You work at the Cheesecake Factory, don't you?" Because I do work at the Cheesecake Factory, bro. It's crazy though, man, because it's like, you know, like I wish I could be like all like Chris Rock and tell like political jokes. I went to college. I didn't graduate though. I decided I was finished. But it's so funny because my friends get mad at me because I don't watch the news. They be like, "Yo, did you know that Trump might have Russian ties?" I said, "No, but did you know that Burger King has 3 pancakes for 89 cents? And 10 chicken nuggets for $1.49? I'm not smart at all, but I know everything that has to do with nothing. You feel me?"
How many people say, "I haven't laughed this week"? Laughter is one of them things that we kind of just take when it comes, but we don't go seeking for. We seek for everything else in life, every other necessity and need that we have. But one of the best things that relieves some of the most pressure and it eliminates the most care out of life, we don't go searching for. You know, we don't search for joy. We kind of just be like, "Oh, it'll come." You know, I'm not saying all people, but the majority, you know, that you ask and you say, you know, how often do you wake up and say, "I want to laugh"? And the majority answer that I got is, most people say, "I've actually never thought about that." So yeah, that's a place that I'm at right now, you know, because I notice people be like, "When's the last time you laughed?" And people be like, "Man, you know," I'm always the guy that says, "Yo, it's not that serious. It's okay, man. Loosen up." You know, laughter opens up people. There's stages in comedy. You know, I went through a stage, just like I was telling you, the beginning stages, you just want to be funny. And I remember the beginning of comedy, you kind of tell jokes and it feeds you. And you say, makes you feel good, making somebody laugh. But then you develop into actually having a voice in comedy. And now my comedy has changed where so I'm not gonna, you know, say that I'm totally there, but now I'm more happy when people enjoy. You know, so first it's about, you know, making yourself feel good, but now I'm in a stage where I want to give. You know, I want to, you know, I want to give to people, you know, laughter, and, you know, that they get some type of joy out of what I do, because I remember a stage when I didn't have much joy, where, you know, like the cares of life would hit you, and I know what it's like to not laugh. And it's a place that I don't think many people should be at.
You're in an industry that kind of rewards content that is more salacious or cussing and all of that. Tell me about like what it's like to deal with that and like choose to do this way.
It happened. I went to college in 2003. And it's a lot of trust in this college. Like literally, I walked around the corner just trying to get people into the show, and y'all packages are just out. Like you just, y'all just. There's nobody advising whose is whose. Like if I would have went to school during this time, my major would be packages. Like I would be over there every day. I'd never go to class. I'd just be taking everything from inside. Like it's so much trust in this building. Like y'all just got so much stuff, man. I love this generation. Y'all so inquisitive. Like look at y'all faces. Like y'all so like it's all gonna work out. Like y'all just y'all determined that y'all gonna make it in life, and it's just like I can see it on y'all faces. No worries. Like it's just nobody's guarding the packages. That's how I know y'all don't got no worries. Like is because of my faith. I'm a Christian. I'm a follower of Christ. I like to, be an example, of what, Christ brought to the earth, love for people and, just a righteous way of living. So I try my hardest to, live at a certain standard, I believe it's pivotal to who I am as a person, to the image that I was created in, to mimic and be, as close, to the way of living. Yeah. I'll tell you, reading is the hardest thing to do late in life. Like, cause the older you get, the less your focus is like zeroed in. Like, I set up a whole night for myself. I put the book next to my next to my nightstand and everything. My wife came in and was like, "Oh, look at you." I was like, "Yeah, I'm reading now." She's like, "Oh, okay, like, you feel me? Like, you ever pick up a book and just immediately get sleepy? Like, just open it up and just the first steps to complete your goal." She's like, "Oh." And that's why sometimes I can't read the Bible. You ever just read the Bible and just immediately just yawn, just out of nowhere, just start paying attention to other stuff. Like, how did Jesus get the pages so thin? Like, Bible got some of the thinnest pages. Like, the newspaper ain't as thin as the Bible. Like, you ever notice that? Like, how did these pages get so thin? Like, that's nuts, man.
So you told me about how at some point you had to go away for a little while. Like, tell me about what led to that and what happened.
Yeah, man. Going away from just comedy and just life in general. It was, I guess, I don't know if you want to call it it was an episode. I still can't really name it. It's just something that I experienced in life, and it allowed me to know that I wasn't well, mentally. Sometimes we could do so much to mask and to hide the internal scars and wounds and, the things that we've dealt with over a period of time without no release. We've never sought after, help. And most of us don't even know that we're hurting inside. But yes, I spent 3 days in a mental facility. I went once, and then I left, and then I had to go back. So that means I didn't learn the lesson. Like, but then I spent another 2 days there. But it was a humbling experience. It brought me to a level that I've never been at, around the people that I've never talked to or been around. So now I kind of share, when people are going through it mentally, and it was a time. It was a time of allowing a lot of things to get taken out of me, and now I'm a better person.
People always say comedy is pain. Do you agree with that? Like, how does pain influence your comedy, if at all?
Pain influences comedy because comedy is all about being relatable, and not so many people can relate on good times, but everybody can relate on bad times. It's through pain where you connect. I'm hungry, so now I know what the person on the street feels when he's hungry. It brings us together. Suffering brings people together. They say, you know who your real friends are when they suffer with you. So I believe the pain part. I don't believe comedy can't be done without pain, but it's the most relatable. You think of any great comedian, and you'll find a painful story or a painful, you know, way of connecting with the audience where everybody is like, yo, I felt that, you know.
Do you use your time in the psych ward in your comedy?
Yes, I do. In my time in the psych ward is in my new hour that I'm working on right now. It is actually the ending piece to it, you know, where I talk about the events and the things that led to it and the whole situation. I talk about it in a very funny way. So, yeah.
One of the things I want to tell y'all is like, I went through laughter is great medicine, man, because I went through a traumatic experience. I spent 3 days in the psych ward before, man, you know. I had a real mental breakdown in 2020, man, which is one of the reasons why I like, you know, doing comedy now, man, to give people relief. Because I understand people going through it mentally and nobody really talks about it, you know. Anybody here, I can tell. It's a lot of hours of therapy in here. I can feel it. Like, you know, like, I'm telling you, man, that's what Brian talking about therapy. I was like, he never been because he wants people to talk back. If anybody been in therapy, I need to unload on somebody. Do you ever feel like that? Like, you just need to talk. Like, I look here, shut up. I don't need you to say nothing. Just listen to everything I got to say. Like, yeah, man. I woke up one day, man, and my mind was gone. Mine was gone. I'm talking about just like this. It was literally, I woke up in the morning and I knew something was wrong. I got up and I sat on the couch and I was staring at the clock for 2 hours. And I knew at that moment something was wrong because that clock in the living room don't even work. I knew something was wrong. I'm telling you, but I couldn't figure out what was going on. So I try to go and make sense of it. I try to go tell my wife what was wrong with me. But I'm gonna tell you this: if anybody here is in a relationship, everybody has somebody in the relationship who don't care what the other one talking about. My wife don't care nothing about what I be talking. That's why I can talk to y'all like this and it feel like real personable, because I need a friend. Like, you see what I'm saying? My wife don't care nothing about what I be talking about. And the thing about it is, whenever you with somebody, you live with somebody who like really, you know, don't care what you talking about, it's always one little thing that you do that ain't even that big of a thing that bothers them. Women, they get bothered by stuff that we do. We don't even notice. My wife's thing that she hate that I do, she hate when I leave the microwave open. I don't know why. It sounds small, right? It sounds small.
I think that's so stupid.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like, look at her. I'm thinking she agreed with me. She's like, why don't you just close the microwave? And I don't know. Like, maybe it's a sign that my mind was open. I don't know. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, so now y'all got the whole story. So think about this. I wake up in the morning. I notice something is wrong. I'm looking at the clock. Clock's not working, and I'm trying to figure out why. So immediately I was like, oh, something's up. I run in the room. I said, hey, yo, babe. I'm hearing voices in my head. And she was like, did they tell you to close the microwave? I'm upset because I'm trying to tell her literally legit something is wrong with my mind. So I'm like, you know, forget this. I'm going back where everything makes sense. I go back, I sit on the couch, look at the clock for another 2 hours. I'm going to figure this out. Like, I don't know what's going on, man. And I can't really put, you know, my finger on what happened. But I will tell you this. I went to the psych ward and I was diagnosed with psychosis. You know, I don't know if you know what psychosis is, but psychosis is like an overload in the brain when your mind is mentally stressed and you feel like everybody is against you. Everybody is like, you know, something's wrong. You know, so I'm in here and I'm in the psych ward and I don't know what's going on. Like in the house, if I told y'all the full story, y'all be like, what in the world? I took my whole...
The great thing about comedy is there's no blueprint. Everybody's journey is different. And one person's journey doesn't mean that your journey is not going to work out. That's the good thing about the comedy grind, you know. And you figure out who you are. At the end of my shows, I would love the audience to feel like somebody cares. You know, it's only through the love of Christ that I'm at the point of, you know, just well-being right now, you know. And a lot of people come to comedy shows for that relief. And, you know, I think it's important, you know, to let people know that we are all, as a country, we're all in this together. And we're here for each other. You know, it doesn't look like that, but that's what brings us together. The country was the most unified that it has ever been. You know, COVID came and medical companies got together and came up with a vaccine together. You see what I'm saying? Like that quick, like, but you know, so I'm not saying that people should or shouldn't take the vaccine. That's not my, you know, what I'm here to say, but I'm just saying through pain brings unity, man. So I want people to understand that, you know, you're not out here alone. There's people that care. And yeah.
What have you learned from doing comedy?
What have I learned from doing comedy? Wow. Man, you need to be Dr. Phil or something, because this is deep. I will say this. I've learned that if you're doing anything just for you, you can only go so far. It isn't until you do things for the benefit of other people that takes you the farthest in life. As a people, your success stops when you're fulfilled. But we have a whole world that is unfulfilled. So it will continuously push you in the right direction. When you always have the needs of other people at your forefront, you will never lose drive. I'm not saying I'm there, but that's a point where I want to get. You know, you think of not even just comedians, but just great people in general. They were not fighting or tailoring, you know, their self to their own needs. They were fighting for the needs of other people, which took them to purpose, you know, and it took them throughout their whole life. A lot of them died doing the work still, because the needs of the world are never fulfilled.
The compassion behind comedy is a Grotto story. It was produced by Tony Koros.
Hello, Josh Long, senior producer at Grotto Network here, and I'm also with
Jane O'Connor, associate producer here.
and the main host of Don't Say Adulting podcast, which you also see on this feed all the time. Speaking of our feed, I feel like people should give us a subscribe. We don't really ask for that very often, do we?
Yeah. Hit that subscribe button.
Smash it. Smash it.
Hit that notification bell.
We are butting in here in the middle of this comedy episode of Good and Decent because, well, frankly, Jane and I have some comedy experience ourselves recently.
Yeah, we've been exploring the local comedy scene here, hitting up some open mics.
After hours, not getting paid for it.
Yeah. Don't worry.
Of course, it's also free.
Well, that's partly why we were going to the open mics, is because they were free versus some of the shows on the weekend.
Yeah, we started going off to some of these open mics, maybe for a couple months, almost like every other week. It's free, and at first we went because it's free, but I feel like I love open mics now.
Yeah. No, it's a pretty transformative experience.
Honestly, weirdly has been. I was just telling you after the last one, it feels almost like a workout in the middle of the week. Like I kind of reset. I see all these people from the community that are willing to kind of just like put aside what they normally do on a day-to-day basis and just say whatever they want on stage for a little bit. It's kind of nice.
Well, and now it's also their familiar faces.
And that's spooky, actually. But Jane, I got to give you special credit because you actually went up and did the open mic. You had a 5-minute set one of the nights we went. It was so fun.
Yeah, a few weeks ago after watching,
learning,
studying, taking notes. No, it's encouraging. You know, you see other people putting themselves out there, and they're a pretty inviting crowd here. So yeah, I took the chance.
What made you take any interest in comedy or seeing yourself on a stage?
I don't know, really. I think I've always really enjoyed comedy. And watch a lot of it, stand up in particular. And I don't know, it's cool to see that it was accessible. You know, I don't know, we're not in the largest city, don't have the largest comedy scene, so it was kind of cool to see that there's something here.
There
low
is something.
stakes, you know, kind of a low stakes way to just make people laugh, I guess, not to sound cringe.
Do you put any thought into like what your style is?
Actually, I've thought about that a lot lately because I feel when at the open mic stage, there's a lot of people just trying things out. I was really, at least speaking for myself, I was super nervous. So it feels hard to really let your individual personality creep in. But when you watch pros, they clearly have a very designed style. So I haven't reached that point yet, and I haven't gone up since. So
Your audience wants to know the true you, Jane. That's what it is. I think it just takes a lot of courage, whether you're on a small stage in South Bend or a huge venue in Chicago or New York, to get up in front of people, try to make them laugh, put yourself out there in risk of bombing, because that's a real thing. Even the best comedians have bombed, right?
Yeah. And I think also what's so interesting about going to the same place every few weeks is that watching the same people get more comfortable, introduce new jokes. I think that's what makes it kind of a neat scene here, at least. And that's partly what was encouraging for me.
Well, if you're going to give advice to anyone listening that may be thinking about getting on a stage at an open mic, what would you say to them?
Take your coworker, take your boss, that's always really, really helpful. I found 100% success rate. This is, I think, just me and my personality. And I just had to tell myself I was doing it, commit to doing it, go to the sign up an hour early so there's no getting out. And this was my strategy. I had a little notes app on my phone, was writing funny things I was thinking up throughout the month. I had this feeling I wanted to do it. And then about 3 hours before the show, just kind of ran through it all, tried to fit in extra jokes in between. I don't know. I think when you first start doing it, you come up with individual jokes. But when you watch comedians, they weave a bunch of smaller jokes into the big one. Mm-hmm. I found that some of the concepts for the jokes, those come as I'm writing them down. But then I actually have to, okay, sorry, this is long-winded, but here's my actual tip, is just start standing.
I liked all of it. It's great.
Once you've got, a couple written down lines, just stand in front of a mirror, try actually talking through it in complete sentences as if you were in front of an audience. Just go through it, press that timer, keep trying to go for 5 minutes, see what you're coming up with to fill in the gaps. Go for a walk if that helps. Pretend in your head that you're going through it, but make sure you're actually speaking it out loud.
I think that's really good advice, Jane. And also, it just paid off in a big way when you did it, because I had a lot of fun watching you. I don't know if you had fun, but it was fun for me, and you were also really funny, Jane. I appreciated it. Speaking of someone else that's really funny, I want to show you this interview we have of Ellis Aych. He's a comedian from Austin, Texas. Here it is.
We about to go to Ellis and Friends, I'm headlining it. We didn't work the 12-hour shift, man, and we're doing comedy, so that's what it is. I didn't start off like regular comics. Like, regular comics start at mics and then they do shows. Bro, I started at shows with no material. I would generate about 30 minutes worth of material. A lady came up to me and said, "You're phenomenal. Do you do shows?" I said, "Yup." Nothing prepared. Nothing prepared at all. I would rehearse and rehearse and rehearse and rehearse and rehearse to the point it made it seem like I've been doing it for years,
That's great, man. Yeah, a lot of people don't do it that way. They don't get that opportunity to just jump into it. That's pretty cool.
Y'all ever thought about quitting a job during orientation? I'm talking about as soon as you in there, I'm like, I don't think the Lord wanted me to do this. And then they talking to you in the future tense, like, you're gonna love it here.
What got you into comedy?
You ever have like a yearning to do something?
Yeah.
Like it was in me to do this. Like I wanted to be a performer, but never just had the guts to. And then eventually, I don't know what changed, but I said, why not? I said, like, why not? I've been wanting to do it. Why not just go? I'm just gonna go. And if it's not what I think it is, then I at least I said I tried it. Because I started out with shows, I've always had that show mentality. Like, I am a comedian. I am the spectacle. I am the headliner. Like, I've always envisioned myself doing arenas. And, yeah, man, by the grace of God, I mean, I've been blessed to not be thwarted. Because a lot of times, comics will be on shows with an open micers mentality. And when I say that, I mean, like, they only got like a few minutes. And then that's it. And then after that, they don't think about like the whole package and the whole experience. I believe in intention. I believe in like the power of like belief. And it's all about the mindset.
What's the relationship of God with your comedy?
I feel as though God uses me to showcase the beauty in life and just, you know, it's not like a direct sermon, but I might hit individuals with like, I don't know, like morals and everything like that. It's like, you know what I'm saying? I'm disguising like loving rhetoric under the guise of like telling jokes. Yeah, man. I tell jokes and I feel like God uses me, you know. Maybe not all the way. Like, he uses me, but some stuff is like, I can't. God's like, okay, I ain't co-sign that. You made that up. I'm glad you love me, but okay, I didn't say it. That's a bad word. Don't do, like, you know. Yeah.
So you feel...
Why did you find out the truth about relationship to happen? So you can be with somebody for years and you won't find out the truth. Like, I remember me and my ex, we split. And my mama said, oh my God, thank goodness, baby. Honey, you're better off. Boy, don't play with me. You know, that girl was just like a shampoo bottle. Just head and shoulders. And then my dad, he goes, he ain't no better. He goes, she like one of those Batman villains. So I started naming off all the sexy ones and shit. I'm like, oh, Poison Ivy. He goes, no. I said, oh, Catwoman. He goes, no, the Penguin. This lady had anxiety. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell y'all, as a black man, I'm not equipped for that. Mental health and all that shit, I don't know nothing about it. White people, y'all go to therapy. Black folks, we go to sleep, okay? All right, I'm sorry. It's just same thing. I mean, two people, same scenario. Bob, oh my God, my life is over. Bob, you need therapy. Dante, oh, this is just hard, man. Bro, you need to go lay down, okay? You just need to go lay down. Get your mind right, okay? We either go to sleep or go to church, okay, as a last result.
I guess what I'm trying to say is like, life is hard. And I'm an individual, like, I'm just hardwired to focus. I want to focus on joy. I want to focus on, like, the great things in life. And I feel like laughter can be anything. And I do believe, like, laughter is from God. Like, that is from God. Can't no, like, if you lost your ability to laugh, then you just lost. Life is hard, and you got to be able to get back up sometimes. And, you know, I don't know. I'm just really thankful. I'm just really thankful for God and just the love in my heart. Like, I feel all love comes from God. Every good thing comes from God. It is through Him that we are able to enjoy it. Everything that is like not giving, not loving, just pain, that's man-made. But love, joy, hope, strength, that all comes from God. That comes from God.
So, do you think God and religion have a place in comedy?
I do. I really do. I mean, like I said, I believe comedy, laughter, it comes from God. But I will say this, like, it depends. Just like in life and when you're talking to people, it's all about tact, right? Like, it's all about how it's packaged. It's all about how it's structured, and it's all about the intent. Me personally, I try to avoid things that are like sacrilegious, and you know, Like, you know, just like, I might involve God in the joke, but the joke is not on God. If that makes sense.
Makes sense, totally.
Last week, it was a girl that made a joke like, God is the biggest blank, blank, blank. You can use your imagination in this universe. Like, he's the biggest. It was a derogatory term. Me personally, I wouldn't use that. But every comic has a different taste. That comedy and people are like, you know, it's all different. It's all different. Everybody has different sensibilities and things of that nature. What bother you may not bother me, and what bother me may not bother you, you know? But then again, we in Texas. And the number one rule of comedy is you better know your audience. Man, God is your grandmama and everybody. You go, all right? Not like that might work in New York, you know what I'm saying? But in Bible Thump in Texas, boy, you gon' get your hide tore up. When you in the industry, it's very political. And I will say, like, it's very, like, clicked up. So, you know, pick your click and proceed, I guess. Why? It sounds like a rap song, right? Choose your set. Choose your set, alright? Rep your set and stay with that. You heard me? If you ain't with Jesus, you ain't with nobody. Alright?
What are your goals for the future in comedy specifically?
Yeah. I'm trying to be the best who ever done it. I'm trying to be like a household name. Like, I want, like, white housewives to know who Ellis Aych is.
Yeah.
Like, when she'd be like, it'd be some lady from New York, like, oh my God, Brenda, did you see Ellis Aych? Oh my God, you're like Ice Cube. Yeah, I know. He's my favorite black one.
Any advice you'd give people trying to find their place in comedy?
You know, I hate platitudes. I hate cliche stuff. But I gotta be honest, man. You will never know until you try. And you gotta try. And don't be passive with what you want to do. If you want to do it, do it. Do it and do not be discouraged. And you're going to have obstacles, man. Like, you don't understand. Like, I be wanting to quit every single day. But it's like, if this is your dream and this is your passion, then you have to, like, endure. You have to, but here's the tricky part. You gotta endure and keep your heart intact. And keep your joy. Because that's the reason you did it. Because you're gonna get to a point where you're fed up. With all the, like, this show wasn't this, or that show wasn't that. This club promoter wasn't doing this. You gotta remember why. Stick to your why. And proceed. And don't ever give up. Like, but seriously though, like, keep going and hone your craft. Be you. Be you. Do not fall victim to the idea of, oh, this is working. Once you figure out what speaks to you and what is authentic to you, you will find your people, you will find your audience, and you will find your truth. And that's what comedy is about. Is the truth. Find your truth and work it. And keep your be happy. Keep your joy. Keep working. That's it. If you are doing this for fame and recognition, get out of it. Get out of it. Get out of it. Because do you not know how long it will take you? You don't know. I'm 29. I got gray hairs, bro. You got to do it for the love and the love alone. If people recognize that, then fine. Let them rock out. And if they love you, then cool. But your worth of who you are and your ability as a comedian is not contingent upon anything other than the belief in yourself. Well, you know, I was in this conversation with some fellow comics, and I didn't know what the show Kill Tony was. So for those that don't know, Kill Tony is like this big YouTube show that averages about a couple 100,000 to 1 million views. And it's basically like a showcase of up and coming new talent. A lot of people though have said that Kill Tony is very hard to get onto, and a lot of people get ridiculed, and a lot of people don't do well on the show. I don't believe in this. I hope this don't sound narcissistic. I don't believe anything anybody tell me. I only believe in what I believe. My mind ain't your mind. Your mind bad, my mind ain't bad. I'm gonna tell you something. A ship can withstand the whole entire ocean. Can be on top of the whole entire ocean. It can weather the waves as long as there's no water in your ship. Stupid. Yeah, there better not be no water in that boat, because you're gonna be sinking. I digress. So anyway, people were like, Kill Tony's hard to get onto. So first time signing up, got on there, did not listen to anybody, killed it. And then the second time I went on, which was about like 2-3 months later, I did it. I killed it so hard, I became a regular on this show.
This is his first time as a regular on the show. This is Ellis Aych, everybody. The regular debut of Ellis Aych.
Yeah! Your parents, make some noise right now. Woo! 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 Shout out to y'all. Because I can't do that, no.
I'm not listening to anybody. Not worrying about the next man. Only worrying about myself and what made me good and what made me special. You must focus on yourself and your abilities. And that is it. Do not worry about the next man, because guess what? There's ups and downs in this business, and you will be up and you will be down. And you will compare your... Comparison is the thief of joy. Do not fall victim to that. Please don't fall victim to that. Be you, do you. Love life and love yourself. Signing off. No, I'm just kidding. God is really working in my life. God is really working in my life. In the moments I want to give up, He reminds me who I am and what comedy does for me. It filled me up with joy and purpose. You know, a lot of people like are alive. They exist, but they're like not living. They don't have purpose. They do this thing. They pay. They work to sun up, sundown, or whatever. Like if you're Amish or whatever, you work at office, you work at Google. You work and work and work. But it's not tethered to anything by your own volition. Like, yeah, you might have pride in it, but it's not your company. With stand-up and with acting, like, yeah, you got cast directors, but it's based off your own merit. And the elation you get, because don't get it twisted now, the amount of rejections are immense. I mean, it's bananas. It's bananas, bro. Like, you will get rejected more often than not, but when you finally get one yes, it's everything. It's everything, man. And then your purpose. Like me, I feel like God put me on this earth to like entertain and just bring good vibes and, you know, be a service to Him. Cause that's all we are, man. It's just, man, We just trying to figure it out, man. And if you lucky to like find your purpose and make life worth living, man, you freaking winning, dude. You winning, and it's all because of God's unmerited favor, man. When I be talking about God, I be crying. Like, I'm keeping it together, but my God is good, and you know, and I know He's looking out for me, and I know He's guiding my steps. But man, I'm just blessed beyond measure, and He's steady blessing me.
Awesome.
Yeah, man.
That's great.
This story about Ellis Aych is an upcoming Grotto story. It was produced by Ronald Short. Check it out 2 days after the release of this podcast on Grotto Network's YouTube page.
Grotto Network is Javi Zubi Zaretta, Director, Josh Long, Senior Video Producer, Jesse McCartney, Senior Content Editor, Kira Kenjujetsky, Project Manager, Michaela Douglas, Digital Content Strategist, Becky Rogers, Art Director, Kevin DeClute, Video Producer, Adrian Giraldi, Social Media Manager, Mike Rossetti, Senior Manager for Community Engagement, Jane O'Connor, Associate Video Producer, Father Brendan McAleer, Associate Video Producer, Ebony Moxie, Audio Storytelling Associate, Jackie Cho, Platform Storytelling Associate, Ryan Brossard, Student Media Assistant,